compared to the last one. AIA Vitality. Your health is every choice you make. We are part of a global wellness program with over 1.65 million members in AIA across Asia. And in Singapore, we have more than 100,000 members on AIA Vitality. Members live healthier by knowing their health through online health assessments and screenings. They improve their health by logging exercises and enjoying the rewards to keep them going. And indeed, members are making improvements in their health. Even the vitality age gap has narrowed to less than a year. Best of all, you earn points for every activity. The higher your status, the greater the rewards, including up to 15% off insurance premium on selected AIA plans. To keep you going, there is the weekly fitness challenge with personalized targets to help pace and improve your fitness. When you complete the challenge, you get a spin on the Vitality Wheel to earn Vitality Coins, which you can use at the marketplace. That's not all. You also earn AIA Vitality Points for completing these activities. And very soon, you'll be on your way to Platinum status. And we sweeten the deal further with many exciting partner benefits that you can enjoy. With AIA Vitality, nothing gets better than a healthier you. So get onto AIA Vitality today because your health is every choice you make.
Hello everybody and welcome to Saturday night sunset football in the AIA Singapore Premier League. It's round 6 as the Young Lions take on Tanjong Pagar United. It's today the day for the Jaguars. It's 2,361 days and counting since they last won a game. I think the AIA Singapore Premier League social media channel put it best earlier today when they said this is a case of the hurting against the hunting. Young Lions beaten 7-0 by Tampines in midweek, and Tanjong Pagar so close to getting that elusive first win in a 3-3 draw with Hougang. This is one of two games kicking off simultaneously this afternoon. Balestier Cows to take on Hougang into Payo's other clash. 5th against 2nd there as Hougang look to get back to winning ways. Let's check in with the league table because it couldn't be any tighter really. A point between the top 3, only 3 points between the top 5. And of course, where we're concerned here at Jalan Besar this afternoon, a win for Tanjong Pagar United will lift them off the bottom of the AIA Singapore Premier League, as well as lifting that monkey off their back of not having won a game since October 2014. Really looking forward to this one. Kick-off is just moments away, but before we get the players out, let's hear from the coaches. Our main man Naz has been downstairs catching up with the team manager of the Jaguars, Noel Shah. We'll hear from him after Naz has had a chat with the head coach of the Young Lions, Philip Orr.
And this is a different Tanjong Pagar side compared to the last one that Young Lions faced last season. What do you think is the main threat from this side?
Well, we know, before the season started, they made many signings. Khairul Amri is there as well, and we all know that he's an experienced player. So they even have Ryo Nishiguchi as well. So up top, they are dangerous. And yeah, we are expecting a tough game today. And it's not going to be easy for us.
And lastly, this will be the first game in over a year where fans are allowed back in. Do you think that will be an extra motivation for the players today?
It's, football, professional football. You play professional football for the fans, yeah. So, it's been so long since the fans are back in, and I'm very happy that today we've got fans watching this game, and I'm happy for them because I'm very sure they are happy to be back here. And yeah, it's just good for football, Yep.
The Young Lions are playing a different brand of football compared to previous seasons. Does that play into your game plan for today?
No, I still think that they are playing the same football similar like last season. They only have better players. The players last season has matured, and the inclusion of all the NS players create a better balance for them. So it's a good sign for young players. It's good to see this for our national football cause. Yep.
And lastly, this will be the first game in over a year where fans are allowed back in. Do you think this will be an extra motivation for the players today?
Of course. Like when even one person on the stand is a reason why we play. We play to entertain. So having 250 person in the stand will be 250 different reasons for us to play much more better for our game. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Great to hear from the two managers, and also great to recognise a real young Singapore starlet. Earlier on today, before the teams come out to warm up, the FAS Technical Director, Joe Palasides, presented young Kyrie Nadim, just 16 years of age, with the Young Player of the Month award. He receives that memento and 250 Singapore dollars. Great to see his ability recognised. The youngest player to score 5 goals in AIA Singapore Premier League history. Congratulations to Kyrie Nadim. I can tell you he does start in this one tonight. The team news will follow shortly. Here are the teams about to be led out by the lead official this afternoon, match referee Jansen Fu. It's the Young Lions and Tanjong Pagar United. Lions and Jaguars clashing at Jalan Besar. Can the Jaguars get that first win in 7 years? We are almost set to find out. A reminder, you can watch this game live on Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page and social media channels, along with One Play Sports. It's great to be here with no sign of the lightning warning system. Remember, the game at Topayo is available for you to watch, as well as Balestier take on Hougang. Tomorrow it's Albrecht's Tampines and Geylang the Lion City Sailors. But it's all about the bottom of the table here at Jalan Besar. Can Noam Shah and Hazrin Jalani's Tanjong Pagar United get the win they need after coming agonising close on Wednesday in that 3-0 draw with Hougang? They led 3 times in that game and were pegged back on every occasion. The goal to make it 3-0 coming very, very late in the piece. As for the Young Lions, well, they've made several changes. We'll confirm them to you in a moment from the team that were annihilated on Wednesday at our Tampines hub against the Stags, 7-0. Their heaviest defeat since they went down 8-0 to Albrechts in 2017. I'm sure Philippe has got them ready to go to bounce back. And let's not forget, last season, the Young Lions beat Tanjong Pagar United on both occasions the teams met. So warm welcome wherever you're watching around the world. The AIA Singapore Premier League 2021 season has started brilliantly, and let's hope it continues this afternoon here with a battle between two teams desperate for points at the wrong end of the table. Team news will be confirmed for you in just a minute. I can tell you Tanjong Pagar United unchanged to the team that got that point on Wednesday. The Young Lions make no fewer than 5 changes as Jansen Fu conducts a toss with the 2 skippers. Danish Irfan recalled to the Young Lions starting lineup, and Faritz Abdul Hamid, the club captain of Tanjong Pagar United. Of course, the Young Lions calling Jalan Besar home this season, as well as the Lion City Sailors. Tanjong Pagar United's home ground at Jurong East will be there tomorrow for a top-of-the-table clash between Albrechts and Tampines. Let's check out the team lineups then for you. The Young Lions make those 5 changes I mentioned. Danish Irfan, Shairul, Kyrie Nadim, who played in the second half, starts today. Safi Chupri and Zamani Zamri all back in the starting 11. There's no place for Joel Chu. He's had a strong start to the season, but seems to have some kind of knee issue. He has to make do with a place on the bench, along with the likes of Zulkarnain, who has featured heavily in the starting lineup this season. Hazrin Jalani's Tanjong Pagar United unchanged. That starting 11 full of experienced talent, including a winner of the AIA SPL with Brunei DPMM, Blake Nishiyuto, along with Shodai Nishikawa and Ryo Nishiguchi, the 2 Japanese players amongst the goals for Tanjong Pagar in midweek to get that 3-0 draw, along with Luis Jr. On the bench for them, well, not the strongest bench you would suggest. Hadi Putradin as an option. Amarul can play as well. The blow for them at the back, no Devinder Singh. He was injured, and now I'm told he's unwell. So Devinder Singh is here in the stands, along with some lucky fans who meet the criteria for entrance into these games for the next 2 weeks. Do check out the FAS SPL social media channels for how you can come to a game for the next 2 weeks before the restrictions are lifted on the 24th. There's Philippe, who stepped into the breach valiantly. Our best wishes continue to be sent to the former coach Nasri Nasrin, who unfortunately was stricken down with illness just before the start of the season. So here we go then, football fans all over Singapore and the world. 361 days, 56,664 hours, 3,339,840 minutes since Tanjong Pagar United last won a game. Is today the day? Back in 2014 when they picked up their last win, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, the much missed Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, had just attended his final National Day parade. The River Safari in Singapore had just opened. That's how long ago it was. Can they get back on a winning thread? And for those fans watching from outside Singapore, to put it into a bit of perspective, the last time they won a game, Ryan Giggs was caretaker manager of Manchester United. Here's the skipper of the Young Lions, Danny Sherfan. Lots of pressure on young Ryan Stewart in the middle of the park. There is a sign of his brother in the matchday squad for the Young Lions here this afternoon. We'll keep you up to date with the goals as they go in at Topayo Stadium as well. Oh, nice ball flicked through by Ilhan Fandi, but the flag is up. Disappointing that, because it was a nice find by Ilhan Fandi, who, along with Kyron Nadim, has really given the Young Lions a potent strike force this season. They're teaming up very well indeed. I'm sure Ilhan's brother Irfan is watching from Thailand, where he's just won the Toyota Thai League T1 title with BG Platoon, and is getting set for AFC Champions League football. Of course, that's the same competition that our very own Tampines Rovers will be playing in this season. High ball in, looking for Luis Jr., but it misses him out. There's Blake Refuto. That's a no-nonsense belt high into the air by Shai Rossazali for a throw to Tanjong Pagar United. They're underway at Topayo. Balestier Calce 0, Harrogate United 0. Like this game, inside the first couple of minutes. Reminded tomorrow, another doubleheader coming your way. First against third, Albricks against Tampines, at Jurong East, Geylang, and the Sailors meet at our Tampines hub. Two absolute crackers for you before we have a three-day round 7, starting with the East Coast Derby next Friday night. Geylang taking on Tampines. Our two Jaguars getting in each other's way there. The Young Lions pick it up on halfway with Kyril Nadim, who's such a talent, but he's beaten to the punch there by a good challenge from Norfolk Ilham. Young Lions recover, and that was Daniel Martins just letting know Shai Rossazali what it's all about this afternoon. Jansen Fu, one of our top officials, the man in the middle. I'm sure he'll have his work cut out. 2 red cards in the AIA Singapore Premier League this season, and one of the cards came in a game involving the Young Lions on this ground, where they played their co-tenants, if you like, the Lion City Sailors. Amaral sent off for 2 yellows in that one as another offside call goes up against the Young Lions. And this ground, by the way, has been the place to be in the AIA Singapore Premier League this season if you want goals. 27 goals scored in the 6 games played on this ground so far this season. That incredible 3-3 draw between the Sailors and Tampines on match day 1. Another 3-3 draw the next day between the Young Lions and Balestier. Then the 3-0 win for Albricks here against the Young Lions. The 3-1 win for Harrogate against the Lion City Sailors. And then the Sailors beating the Young Lions 3-1 here. And the 2-2 draw in midweek between the Sailors and Albricks. Jansen Fu just trying to calm this down early. You can tell Noel Amshar and Hassan Jalani have got their squads up for this. So Danny Sherfan over the free kick. Young Lions incidentally in the red, sort of an orangey red, isn't it, in the white shorts, playing right to left in this first half. Tanjong Pagar United, if you're not familiar with the SPL, white blue shorts, playing left to right. Comes back to Noor Shafiq. Picked it up though with Blake Kyoto to Risiadi. Risiadi goes down looking for the free kick. Referee Jansen Fu not interested. Tanjong Pagar pick it up. It's a scrappy enough start as for Mead. Tries to feed it through to Nishikawa, who along with Ryo Nishiguchi both scored great goals against Tao Gang. Oh, look at the sliding challenge coming in there from Lewis Jr. Lewis Jr. himself scored a rather cheeky goal. And they could be in business here. Long range effort, it's an absolute screamer! Ryo Nishiguchi, 2 in 2 games! And Tanjong Pagar United strike first in the battle keeper, no chance. Blake Risuto involved in the build-up. He found Nishiguchi in space, and that was nothing short of unstoppable. Have a look at this. Noor Shafiq didn't even move. Young Lions nil, Tanjong Pagar United 1. And it's the long wait over. They led 3 times on Wednesday, remember, and couldn't close it out here. They lead early against a team that were beaten 7-0 on Wednesday. They've now conceded 8 goals in their last 95 minutes of football. That is just the start, I'm sure, that Hasrin, Jalan and Noah Amshar wanted. A dream start. Ruscialdi over the free kick. Plenty of movement in the box. It's a good delivery as well. Noor Shafiq decided to come and then stood still. Riciota's over the edge of the area, and Noor Shafiq makes the save from the snapshot just inside the box. Well, business is certainly picking up here. Ricioto picked up by the Young Lions, who've not shown much coming forward. They might show something now, but that pass is easily picked off by Faritz. And Nishiguchi could get to this first. Nishiguchi, I think he was trying to get it over the top to Lewis Jr., who would have been in an offside position. I think that's what caught Nishiguchi in 2 minds. Well, I mentioned that AIA Young Player of the Month award that went to Kyrie Nadin. The goal of last month went to Song Young. That will be presented tomorrow to the Sailors Man. Rio Nishiguchi's making a very strong claim to win this month's award, as again the Jaguars want to whistle that they don't get. It's a strong, committed sliding tackle by Emerick Ong, and they do well to get that back. Blake Ricioto, Emerick Ong thinks about going back here, and he might have to. He should have done. Lucky to win the free kick there, as Kyrie Nadin nearly had the ball away. Yes, congratulations to the other monthly award winners. Great initiative by the title sponsor AIA. Clement Teo, the coach of the month after Haugang's strong start to the season. And Tomoyuki Doi, who's run to the top of the scoring charts, the former Albrecht's man now playing for Haugang, is the player of the month. That's a little nibble on the ankles of Norfolk Ilham, which has won them another free kick, and they produced a decent delivery from this kind of range last time they had the opportunity. Let's see what they can do on this occasion. Nishiguchi's goal coming in just the 5th minute, 2nd of the season. Ruscialdi again, another ball with the outswinger. Oh, Kyrie Nadin flicking that one over. It's good anticipation for Faritz. He's giving them all kinds of problems, like the youngster, and he could be in here. He leaves it for the run down the left-hand side of Jaime Shahin. And assistant referee signals for Mr. Jansen Fu to blow the whistle. Going back to those 2 games last season, when it really was the battle to determine who would avoid the wooden spoon. Both games won by the Young Lions. They beat Tanjong Pagar 2-1 at Geelong West, which was their home last season. And they won at Geelong East by 4 goals to 2. Kyrie Nadin, in fact, got a brace in that game when he was only 15 years old. So that's picked up well in the middle by Ryan Stewart. Needs support, Ryan Stewart, and he's not got it. Oh, they were very fortunate possibly to pick up the free kick there. They will get their first real set-piece opportunity. Still goalless, incidentally, at Tapio between Balestier, Khalsa and Haugang United. So, Young Lions plenty of running off the ball here. They sneak it to this near side, Ilhan Fandi. He needed an option really, and they'll be able to get it away. And the first piece of play resembling penetration into the Tanjong Pagar United penalty area comes to nothing. Well, the only thing I'm sure that will worry Jalan and Noel Amshari is they've scored so early. I know it sounds ridiculous, you'd rather be in front at any point in a football match, but they've got an awful long time to see this out now. And remember, they have the same starting 11 that played in that, what must have been energy zapping 3-3 draw on Wednesday in Hougang. No changes to the starting 11. It's a third game in a week for both squads here, and the Young Lions have rotated from the team that were beaten 7-0 on Wednesday. First touch for Fashar. Gets a good connection as well, looking for Lewis Jr. with the flick on. Banks just deceives Daniel Martins. Nadim, exciting young talent he is. Enough to get us all behind the Bring Back the Raw campaign over it. Faritz gets it to Blake Mathuto, suggestion of dangerous play, but the play on. Oh, Nishiguchi's in again! Rio Nishiguchi's goal side, onside! And he's in the crossbar! Good grief. They open them up so easily there, Tanjong Pagar United. Nishiguchi is on fire through these first 12 minutes. Luis Jr. couldn't quite get to the rebound, but he waits in the area to see if he can pick up any cross that may come his way, and they're still in possession here, Tanjong Pagar. Decent cross, is he onside? Daniel Mertens, he might be! The shot is a tame one, and the flag had stayed down. Well, my oh my, they've created enough openings to be 3-0 up in these first 12 minutes. Tanjong Pagar United, have a look at this. Daniel Martins, how was he onside? But he was. They're coming again. Now, Lawful Ilham goes over. We've got a red shirt near him. But the Young Lions are rattled here. They've waited so long, the Jaguars. Is today the day? I don't think you can take it for granted until the full-time whistle has gone. Certainly, I know the Jaguar Force, one of the most loyal and dedicated fan groups in Singapore, will be watching this. There was a little bit of a naughty late challenge that went through there, and the referee, I think, has let it go. He was very fortunate to get away with that by Shahin. Meantime, Lawful Ilham, who's having a strong start to this game, gets it in. Faritz having a tussle with Ilhan Fandi. Here's Nishiguchi, star of the show so far. He's at the crossbar and scored one, and again is he onside at Daniel Martins? He's not this time. Well, this is a little bit of Singaporean history. If you're not familiar with the AIA Singapore Premier League, depending on where you're watching around the world, just to be clear, the length between victories of 2,361 days is somewhat obscured by the fact that Tanjong Pagar United weren't in the league from 2014 to 2020, but as a club, I'm sure the first one, having not been able to win a game in their first season back last campaign, will be oh so special. He's got some space here, Ilhan Fandi. Plays a clever pass, great pass by Ilhan. Kairin Nadim waits in the middle if they can find the cross. They get it back to Ilhan. There are two red shirts in the middle. Ilhan finds one of them, Noor Hakim, and they win the free kick, and it might be a chance to make something happen from a set piece. I think Jansen Vu thought about going to his notebook there. Let's have a look at this again. Ilhan Fandi causing all kinds of problems. And you could have picked from two fouls there as well. I think Blake Mathuto might well have given them a little nudge. It's given them a set piece. And they've got some star quality from dead ball situations. Zamani Zamri and Charles Azali are over it. Tanjong Pagar United really should be two in front here. Young Lions have shown little to nothing coming forward to this point through the first 15 minutes, but there is an awful long way to go. Remember, they led 3 times against Hougang in midweek, couldn't close it out. So what are they going to play here? Will it be Samani or Sharo? Sharo! I think he thought he might have caught Fashar off his guard and off his line there, but it wasn't to be. Tanjong Pagar United keeper, who's had a torrid time of it really, with those two big defeats, 5-0 against the Sailors, 4-0 against Balestier, but they've been competitive in their other 3 games really. 3-1 against Tampines, 2-1 defeats against Jalan on the opening day where they levelled it up, having gone behind early. Of course, that 3-3 draw on Wednesday. Amazingly, already 3 3-3 draws in the AIA Singapore Premier League this season. And both of these clubs have been involved in one of them. Young Lions in that 3-3 draw when they trailed 3-1 against Balestier Khalsa, and Tanjong United on Wednesday. Danish Irfan, skipper back at the starting lineup, gets to this near side. And Shairul Sazali, well, that was great anticipation by Sharin Sabarin, and all of a sudden Lewis Jr. can try and play him Nishiguchi again, and that was an important flick off the head of Safri Jupri, because Nishiguchi and Lewis Jr. look like they mean business as a strike pairing this season. To call them a strike pairing in the traditional sense is probably a little bit wide of the mark. There's something about their link-up play, not just that either in the early part of the season, that suggests they could be a partnership ready to bloom. Taking a tumble there was Lewis Jr. He's back with Emerick Ong. Emerick Ong try and find a way through to Norfolk Ilham here. The pass is a little bit wide of the mark. For the Young Lions, it's Shairul Sazali. Nice footwork from Khairi Nadim. They've got to run it down this left-hand side. Farshar came committed and got there first. Young Lions didn't like that from Farshar, but I don't think he did too much wrong. Inside to Lewis Jr. Beats one. Lewis Jr. into the area. Shows his strength, goes down. They want a penalty. Not interested, referee Jansen Fu. And he won't be interested there either. Referee's letting the game flow nicely, in my opinion. Sharin Sabarin's pass, a little bit too much on it for Rio Nishiguchi. So a lively start here. We've had a goal, and it's the bottom club Tanjong Pagar United that have got it. Still goalless at Topayo between Balestier Khalsa and Hougang. Young Lions just showing a lack of that spark that we've seen from them in some games this season, but we know they've got a fighting spirit, and we know arguably they're less likely to tire than a Tanjong Pagar United side that's been unchanged from Wednesday, and a busy time for all 8 AIA Singapore Premier League clubs. That's it. It's just, I think you're accidentally turning it on, keep... So back with the live action here. Don't forget we have the hydration breaks midway through each half. So we'll get a time and a chance to look at that Nishiguchi goal one more time. A thing of beauty it was as well. Here he is again. He's seen the keeper off his line, and Noor Shafiq just scrambled back in the nick of time. Right idea there, and credit to Noor Shafiq for getting it right with the back pedal. There is the other Japanese starlet of Tanjong Pagar United, Shodo Nishikawa. Ball gets back to Noor Shafiq. Young Lions need to get something going offensively. Ryan Stewart on the ball. Spreads it out to this near side from Shairul Sazali. Danish Irfan, they're going to have to go all the way back to Noor Shafiq here. Tanjong Pagar United have got their zone spot on, not giving them any space, and they forced the mistake. And that was wasted really, Norfolk Ilham unable to control it. So it's passed straight to him by Noor Shafiq, who has made some great saves in terms of his shot stopping, but sometimes his distribution, I think, maybe the inexperience mark against him. He'll take the goal kick short to Danish. He's going to have to go long himself here. Finds his way through to break Visioto, who gets it to Lewis Jr. Oh, lovely skills, Lewis Jr., but no free kick. Danish Irfan's down and agony as well, and now they finally will get a free kick, and are they bringing the card out as well? Yes, they are. First yellow card of the contest, and it goes next to the name of Jaime Shahin. And I think the referee's just about got that spot on, Janssen Fu, because these robust challenges have been adding up, and Danish Irfan himself might have been a bit lucky not to have been penalised there, but having potentially made the foul, Danish Irfan, I'm sad to say, is in some discomfort on the ground. He's hardly moved, and he did miss the game on Wednesday night as well. It's that right leg that appears to be the issue, and this would be a huge blow for the Young Lions. Should they lose him? Oh, nervous moments for Philippe Orr in the Young Lions box. While we have this injury break, though, it's worth having a look back at Ryo Nishiguchi's second goal of the season. Great work from Blake Visioto, but what a strike that is. Noor Shafiq didn't know whether it was spring or summer as that ball floated past him. And on the weekend where Song Or-yong will be awarded the goal of the month for March, there's a contender for the goal of the month for April. And there is the man that's the first name in referee Janssen Fu's notebook. So, after that lengthy delay, where the Young Lions are currently playing with 10, with Danishov getting some treatment, this is the kind of range, well, the now departed Jan Motta scored from last season for Tanjong Pagar United, with an absolute beauty to get a point against Albirex. What can Lewis Jr. do with this left foot here? Unless he's the decoy, there's three of them over it. Fritz is there as well. Is it going to be Lewis Jr.? It isn't. He left it, and ultimately nothing doing on that occasion. Sharin Sabarin. Shadi actually with that free kick, apologies. Nonetheless, it's not something that we'll be including in the highlight reel. Bit of a shame. I was looking forward to seeing Lewis Jr. get hold of that. Maybe he'll be given an opportunity next time. For Reese, Blake Visioto, who's definitely had a positive impact on this engine room of Tanjong Pagar United this season. A man with an SPL title winner's medal in his collection that he picked up when playing for DPMM. As we're officially midway through the first half, water break tends to come around that 26-27 minute mark. Along the line from Emerick Ong. It's a chase for Blake Visioto, and he very nearly gets there. It was good hustle from the Australian. I can tell you, obviously, the beauty of the way we're streaming the games this season means you can mix and match. I can tell you live at Tapayo Stadium, there's a penalty to Hougang United. An update on that shortly. Ballister Calcer 0, Hougang United 0, but the Cheetahs have got a penalty here. We've already had the first goal. And if you're just joining us, make sure you stay with us for the drinks break when we show you Ryo Nishiguchi's absolute beauty to give the Jags the lead here. Back it goes to Fischer. Lewis Jr. challenging in the air, gets a wonderful flick on. No one anticipating it though. Hougang United have missed their penalty, I believe, I'm being told, as Fischer has a decision to make here. And if that was a penalty that has been missed, I think would be the second penalty missed this season after Stipe Plazamat missed one on this ground on Wednesday night. So remains Ballister Calcer 0, Hougang United 0 at Tapayo. Meanwhile, back here, Tanjong Pagar United with a dream start. They've had chances to increase the lead, haven't taken them. And there's some space to run into here, but just couldn't get over the ball side, Akmal. Zamani Zamri down that right-hand side. Fischer will force Ilhan Fandi to gobble it up. Here's Fritz. It to Rishali. Blake Visiuto. Got some space to run into here, Blake Visiuto. Driving force into enemy territory goes Blake Visiuto. He might get this ball back again, will he? No. Taking a tumble, but no free kick. It was Noor Hakim. It's over the top, looking for Ryan Stewart. But Farid Hamid, who does like to bomb forward, drives it out brilliantly. Nishiguchi's over on the left-hand side. Lewis Jr. waits in the middle. Lewis Jr. collects. Lewis Jr. just held up, and he needs some help here. And it's not immediately forthcoming. Farid Hamid now back in possession. They look to spread it to this near side, and Daniel Martins very nearly still dropped to Lewis Jr., but the Young Lions eventually get it clear. Here's Sharin Sabarin. And that'll drift out, and that will bring up the water break. And if we do get a chance, I wouldn't mind seeing that goal again. It was a goal I think we'll see many more times, certainly this month, and maybe throughout the rest of the season, because it was an important goal for Tanjong Pagar United. They've now taken the lead early on in their first 10 minutes of a game in 2 consecutive matches, but crucially, can they see this out to pick up maximum points? Have a look at this once more. Blake Visiuto doing some good work in the middle of the park. The pass to Nishiguchi still had plenty to do. One touch with his left, the second touch with his right. Noor Shafiq beating all ends up, and that's the goal that separates the sides with 26.5 minutes on the clock. Just looking down beneath me, you can see Philip Orr frantically giving instructions to his sides. Noel Amshar and Hazrat Jalani doing the same for Tanjong Pagar United. This is going to take some getting. If you're not familiar with the climate in Singapore, if you're watching around the world, it's incredibly humid. These players, these squads now having to play their 3rd game in 7 days, and it's going to be a marathon, this game, not a sprint. The Young Lions have obviously got some injury concerns of their own. No Harris Stewart in their squad today. Joel Chu on the substitutes bench, having come off with a knee problem against the Lion City Sailors. Tanjong Pagar United, obviously without Delvinder Singh, who is in the stadium watching the game, along with some very lucky fans. For the next 2 weeks, fans to a maximum of 250 allowed back in AIA Singaporean Premier League grounds. There are plenty of criteria you need to meet in terms of vaccinations and negative tests, of course, as you'd expect, as the FAS and the Singapore government bid to do things properly and bringing fans back. Safety, of course, the utmost importance. But from the 24th, if all goes well, there'll be no pre-requirements, and we'll be able to welcome 250 fans in regardless, come what may, and hopefully that's the start of getting the fans back in and these stadiums back to full capacity. Back with a live action, Jaime Shahin to this near side, and Noor Hakim. Noor Hakim has a run, but the ball ends up dropping to the feet of Blake Visiuto. Norfolk Ilham with a bit of improvisation, but the throw-in goes the way of the Young Lions. Noor Hakim to take. Haven't really seen Noor Shafiq have to make a save. He's darted out of his area on one occasion to make a clearance, but other than that, he's not had much to do. That can change now, though. Noor Hakim, what a thundering challenge that was. Uncompromising defending from Norfolk Ilham. And you have to say, I await confirmation that that was a penalty missed at Tapao. I'm only going through second-hand knowledge, but I do understand that Balestier Khalsa have had a man sent off in that one. So again, you can catch up with what's happening there on Singtel Star, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page, and One Play Sports here. Young Lions with just the 1 shot off target so far. Tanjong Pagar United 4 on target. They've only scored with 1 of them. On the balance of play, they probably should be more than 1 goal in front. Can they put that right before half-time? Daniel Mertens just missing out, goes through on Danish Irfan there, and the referee Jansen Fu I think is going to show a yellow card. Needless yellow shown to Daniel Mertens, and under the circumstances Martins should really have been a bit more savvier there. Now got an hour to last on a yellow card in a game that's bound to get tense and niggly. In the latter stages, as both teams chase the 3 points. Lewis Jr. Lewis Jr.'s got an option out to the left-hand side, and it's an option he finds in Nishikawa. Nishikawa delivers across. Nishiguchi's up! It drops to Blake Risciotto. I don't think he was expecting it and couldn't bring it down and get the shot away. But the Australian tracks back well and picks it up. Norful Ilham gets it out wide to Risciotto, and some good defending from Shairul Sazali. It's out for a throw. Tell you what, it's bad news for Balestier Kausa because it's big Bruno, Ensar Bruncevic, that's seen red for 2 yellow cards. So that's going to be a hard day at the office now for Balestier Kausa. For It's Hamid, when they've tried to go cross-field with their passes, the young Lions, more often than not, they've been short in their range. Half an hour in, it's still just that stunning strike by Ryo Nishiguchi in the 5th minute that separates the sides. Lewis Jr. Get the feeling if he's got the fitness in the locker to last the 90 minutes, he could be causing a tiring young Lions defence all kinds of problems in the second half. No Kyril Amri, incidentally, in the matchday squad for Tanjong Pagar. I'm told he has a suspected broken metatarsal, so if that's the case, best wishes to Kyril. As Risciotto gets it out wide. The flag's up here for offside. Well, the flag's up for offside. I wouldn't mind seeing that again. It was a strange old angle. Referee obviously adjudicating that Nishikawa has strayed into an offside position. Let's have a look at this. Well, what's he given there? Need to maybe roll it back a little bit. Didn't look offside, did it? Not a natural angle. Near side. Here's Shairul Sazali. Philippe drops the ball for Emmerich to pick up. Great to see Emmerich back in AIA Singapore Premier League business. Here's Blake Risciotto. They're a different proposition. I know the results don't suggest it to this point of the season, but Tanjong Pagar United are a different proposition to the team we saw last year. The strengthening with the likes of Blake Risciotto and Nishiguchi. Lewis Jr., of course, retaining he, even though they lost Jan Motta. The experience of Kyril Amri coming in, the likes of Emmerich being a part of the squad. They are not, even if they don't win today, going to go the whole season without winning a game again. It's just not possible. But in the short term, they'll be hoping that that monkey is off their backs here this afternoon, and they've had a great start, leading by a goal to nil. Could have some defending to do here, though. First time pass across field is going to find Noor Hakim. Noor Hakim, now can he get goal side? There are plenty of Tanjong Pagar shirts back. Noor Hakim sprays it rather ambitiously out to the right, and there's going to be a foot race on to get to this. And it just left too much to do. Entirely sure that was the right option in that situation. But it does come back to the young Lions to try and build through the back once more. Zamani to Danish, who's thankfully recovered from what was a nasty injury when he was down on the deck for quite some time earlier in the half. Danish gets it back to Noor Shafiq. See what Noor Shafiq's distribution is like here. Better gets Ilhan, who wins it brilliantly in the air. Ilhan, Noor Hakim's there again, and Noor Hakim loses his man and is through. Just Fareed and the keeper to beat. Noor Hakim to level it up, and Fareed with some brilliant cover defending. But in that situation, Noor Hakim really has to get the shot away. But all the credit in the world to Fareed Hamid, who covered brilliantly, didn't panic. When always in that situation, conceding the penalty is going to be a danger. That's wonderful defending, but Noor Hakim should have done better. But this is a good spell from the young Lions now. Kyril Nadim wanted it. Instead it goes to Ilhan. Ilhan gets it back from Noor Hakim. I think they wanted a free kick from obstruction, but they're not going to get it. And that's going to fall to Blake Risciotto. And Nishiguchi and Lewis Jr. are up. And Nishiguchi's in acres of space. He's got Lewis Jr. in front of him. Daniel Martin's on the near side. Through to Lewis Jr. Can the Brazilian finish? Great keeping. Noor Shafiq for now. But he gets it back! Oh, Nishiguchi. And I think he's got something to that. Well, Noor Shafiq bailed his team out not once but twice there. The replay will be fascinating. And again, Tanjong Pagar could rue the opportunities they're giving up here. Initially, Noor Shafiq did brilliantly to come out and take the ball off Lewis Jr.'s toes. And I'm not sure whether it was the keeper or the defender got on the touch on the second effort. But nevertheless, they kept it out. And I think this is the first corner of the match. I think it might be. They're certainly in no rush to take it. Tanjong Pagar United, the first corner of the game. It will be Rushaldi over to take it. He's got Nishikawa as the short option. Plenty of height in there with Nishiguchi and Lewis Jr. and Blake Visciotto. And it comes on, flicked on by Nishikawa. Back to Asiadi. The cross is into the penalty spot. Brought down by Lewis Jr., who goes for the spectacular with a bicycle kick over the bar. What an entertaining 35 minutes this has been. Tanjong Pagar United, Hazrat Jalani and Noel Shah have got this squad fighting for their first win in 7 years as a football club. But they've got work to do now, defending against the Young Lions, who come with Shirel. Shirel goes down, it'll be another free kick, and is it going to be another yellow card? It will be, and I have to say, the yellow cards are now starting to add up. Daniel Mertens, Emery Kong, and now Jaime Charles in for the Young Lions in the book. Emery Kong, the latest man's name to be taken. It's being played at a very fast pace, in patches though. Over this ball for the Young Lions, it's Zamani Zamri. Perfectly positioned for this right footer to maybe drop it on the edge of the 6-yard box, maybe even try and catch Fashar Iskander out on his goal line. Keep an eye on the players coming forward, including Ryan Stewart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Young Lions shirts in the penalty area. They think the shot's an option here, which is why they've got 2 men in the wall. What will Zamani Zamri do with this? Goes for goal, straight into the breadbasket of Fashar. And ultimately, that's not going to get it done. As defensively frail as Tanjong United can be, Young Lions, although they've seen some encouraging signs that they can penetrate, just haven't done enough to this point. Over the top, looking for Nishiguchi. And/or Norfal Ilham. And Norfal Ilham's got to the byline. Can he pull it back? Danish just gets there first. It's another chance. The Young Lions will look to break quickly on the counter. Route 1 stuff, flicker by Kyrie Nadim. Looking for Ilhan. And Fashar gets there first. Well, I don't know about you folks, wherever you're watching this, but even though we're only 7.5 minutes to the break, you do get the feeling there's going to be more goals in this. It was a lovely flick on by Kyrie Nadim, and Ilhan's found his pace, nearly got him there in front of Fashar. Oh, he's gone through the back there, Danish and Lewis Jr. And a line through how Jansen Fu has been officiating this game. You really think he's going to show Danish a card here? Lewis Jr. was clattered into from the back. He's given himself some time, Jansen Fu, to work out what to do here. But if you booked Emery Kong for the challenge a couple of moments ago, surely, with consistency in mind, Danish Irfan might be shown a yellow. Let's have a look at this again. Well, Blake Visciotto with a bit of a wild kick out. Well, not too much in it in terms of maliciousness, but always run a risk when you come into the back of a player like that. Danish Irfan survives without the yellow next to his name. Free kick, it's played down the line for Norfal Ilham. Certainly not afraid of getting involved in these situations. Oh, he's got to be careful, Emery Kong, he's already been booked. Fortunately for him, I don't think he was going to get another one, bearing in mind they just let Danish Irfan off seconds ago for what looked a worse challenge. He's on the deck in some discomfort off the back of that. More Hakim, but it's going to be okay. Kyrie Nadim just beaten to it, and he's clattered into fairly, it must be said, by Norfal Ilham. And meanwhile, Nishiguchi is played to Lewis Jr., who's offside. I tell you, Kyrie Nadim still in a bit of discomfort, still on his knees, but he gets up, dusts himself down, he's going to be okay. Both sides, to a certain extent, playing with fire with their offside lines. And I'll tell you something, Norfal Ilham, one of the designated underage players in the starting lineup for Tanjong Pagar United, he is getting stuck in, he's putting it all on the line there for the Jaguar force, all the Tanjong Pagar fans around the country, and his manager. Noor Hakim's ghosted in here. Noor Hakim with a lob! Just over the bar. But Tanjong Pagar United were caught out too easily there. And Noor Hakim, not for the first time in this first half, just ghosted in on this near side with a lovely timed run. And that was an audacious attempt to cheekily put the ball up and over and under the crossbar of Noor Shafiq, and the Tanjong Pagar United goal just didn't dip down in time. Noor Shafiq. I say Fasha, apologies, getting my goalkeepers mixed up there. I apologise. Fasha, of course, it is in the Tanjong Pagar United goal. End-to-end excitement is confusing me even. It's been a fantastic game to that point. 40 minutes in, the action going from one end to the other. Here's Faritz. Over the top, and Lewis Jr. is having a chase of this. He's going to put Danish under a bit of pressure. They'll get the ball, and that definitely is Noor Shafiq now with the kick. Being chased and hassled and harried by Daniel Martins. Faritz can let that bounce. There's no real Young Lions pressure there. Blake Ricciotto. Time for Shah and Sabarin to decide what he wants to do, and Faritz now can play it to the goal scorer Nishiguchi. Now keep an eye on Lewis Jr. He's loitering around the penalty spot. Nishiguchi going all the way. Nishiguchi, can he square it back? And the Young Lions in the end could only send it behind for a corner, and that was the best they could do. Rio Nishiguchi, where we're really seeing some ex-Albrecht Tagata stars shine in other clubs' colours this season. Tomoyuki Doi and Howgang, and look at this for Rio Nishiguchi, they couldn't get near him. And in the end, it was all that they could do through side Akmal to get it behind for just the second corner of the game that Rishiadi's over to take. A second goal for Tanjong Pagar here would give them some much-needed breathing space. I don't think they've led in a game by 2 goals since that 5-0 win the last time they won a game in October 2014 against Harry Mahmoudi B. Rishiadi with the corner. Nishiguchi, second chance for Nishiguchi. Might be able to get it back to Rishiadi. Lewis Jr. and Blake Ricciotto waiting, but the cross on that occasion isn't good enough, and the Young Lions try and break, and they'll look to try and get Kyrie Nadim in. Well watched by Norfolk Ilham. Blake Ricciotto is out helping out at the back. Norfolk Ilham to Blake Ricciotto, nice touch from Musiadi. But when you look at the percentage stats in this game, it has been the home side really absorbing plenty of pressure, but the Young Lions actually, in the unofficial percentage stats, having just a fraction more over 50% of possession. Doesn't feel like that kind of game though, does it? They appear to be on the back foot for the most part. Rishiadi. Norfolk Ilham controls that beautifully. Norfolk Ilham, cross, no one in the area. And Noor Shafiq should stop that going out for a corner, and does, despite the intentions of Daniel Martins. So all that we need to know now really is how much time is going to be added on at the end of the opening stanza. We had the injury to Danish and the water breaks. I'd imagine 2 minutes, stretch 3 might be the order of the day. Gone are the days of just 1 minute being added on at the end of the first half. Blake Ricciotto. Musiadi. He ran himself into trouble there, but he wants to get it back to Emmerich on. Faritz. Nishiguchi, what a handful he is down that left-hand side. He's ghosting class players. They're told there'll be 2 minutes of time added on for stoppages. Over the top, Nishiguchi is in the mix for this. It was well watched by Lions back line as another niggly challenge comes in, this time from Rishiadi on Ryan Stewart. Played at a real committed, frantic pace this. There's been many lulls in truth, only the 1 goal, but plenty of incident and action to talk about, including Nishiguchi, not just a goal, but hitting the crossbar as well. Lewis Jr.'s looked lively, plenty to look back on when we go through the highlights at half-time and keep you up to date with what's happening at Topayo. Still Balestier Calcio 0, Howgang United 0 there, but we understand that Ensar Bruncevic has seen red for Balestier. Well won in the air by Sharin Sabarin. Daniel Martins in a bit of a contest with Danish. Bit of shirt pulling going on there. I think Daniel Martins will be penalised for that. He's another player that's on a yellow card, so he has to be careful. Daniel Martins, Emery Kong for Tanjong, Pagar and Jaime Shahin for the Young Lions, all picking up yellows in this first half. We've already seen the third red card in the AIA Singapore Premier League season. Oh, there's a push there. They play on. Is it a penalty? It is! Well, there was a shout for a free kick on the flags up on over on the far side. Getting carried away there, but there was a shout for a free kick on the edge of the area. A penalty inside the area, and it was at the end, the assistant's flag that saved them. And it's very, very close, but there was definitely a shout for the free kick for the trip by Shahin Sabarin, and then another young line went over in the area. But I think the assistant referee on the far side has got that spot on for offside. You can see the look on Fashar's face. I think for a split second he thought they'd given a penalty. He was terrified. He fell into the same trap as me. But Tanjong Pagar survive again, but they still only lead by 1. And when you've not won a game for this long, just getting over the finish line can be so, so tough. Emery Kong. Space on this near side for Norfolk Ilham. Norfolk. Oh, he's given that away. He's got it back though. Norfolk Ilham with a great steal. Looks for the 1-2 with Nishiguchi. Nishiguchi twists and turns. He's got Daniel Martins. Nishiguchi doesn't need him. Nishiguchi to the byline. Now he might need Daniel Martins. Still Nishiguchi. They just can't get the ball off him. Still Nishiguchi into the area, and finally they belt it clear. Well, Rio Nishiguchi is proving one hell of a handful here at Jalan Besar. And speaking of handfuls, here's Irfan Fandi. And Ilham wins the free kick right on half-time. Oh, and he's furious, Norfolk Ilham. Screaming at Ilhan, I think, for what he might have perceived as a bit of a dive, but there was definitely a nudge there initially from Emery Kong. And when Emery Kong was turned inside out, well, he played the ball first, didn't he? That angle shows you Norfolk Ilham maybe a little bit unlucky. But if you're Hassan Jalali and Noel Amshar now, you just want your team to repel what will certainly be the last play of what's been a frantic first 45 here. Shirul Sazali to deliver this in. High line being played by Tanjong Pagar United. Can the Young Lions get in behind it? No, they can't. Farid Samid will head it away. And surely Jansen Fu will put the whistle to the mouth, but maybe only after they've seen off another attack. And that will be that. Jansen Fu does call for half-time, and what a half it was. Rio Nishiguchi, just like they did on Wednesday night, taking the lead early. Tanjong Pagar United with a 5th-minute goal that was a thing of absolute beauty. They really should have doubled the lead when Nishiguchi hit the crossbar less than 10 minutes later. They've had the better of it, but as the half went on, the Young Lions started to come back into business, and Noor Hakim a couple of times has ghosted in on the near side unmarked. All in all, it shapes up to be a fascinating second stanza. At the break here at Jalan Besar, it's Young Lions 0, Tanjong Pagar United looking for their first win in 2,361 days, 1. Welcome back live to Jalan Besar at half-time. Young Lions 0, Tanjong Pagar United 1. Rio Nishiguchi's stunning fifth-minute goal. We'll tell you what's happening at Topayo in a moment, but let's run you through the best of the action from that first 45 minutes. And we don't have to wait long to see the goal in this. Look at the good work done by Break Risioto, who picked up the pass from Rusciadi and managed to find Nishiguchi, who still had a lot to do. One touch with the left, and then the finish with the right was unstoppable. Norsafik didn't even move, and that gave Tanjong Pagar United the dream start. But just as they had a dream start on Wednesday, they really needed to try and double the lead if they could. This goal is most definitely worth another look. It really was sensational stuff. Even from this angle, it looks even more attractive. Remember, on Wednesday, they led 3 times against Hougang and couldn't close it out, so a 2-goal buffer would have been brilliant. Nishiguchi onside here, rattling the crossbar with, again, Nur Shafiq seemingly maybe even losing the ball in the sun there, the way he stuck that hand out. Wonderful ball over the top. Nishiguchi's first touch, a dream, and the left-footed finish that would have left him a headed goal away from a perfect hat-trick. Tanjong Pagar United are the better of the chances. Daniel Martins should have really done better there when somehow the flag stays down. I think he was caught in 2 minds as to whether go to goal himself or see if he could find Lewis Jr. All the credit in the world for the ball over the top from Tanjong Pagar United. Did have some defending to do when Sharin Sabarin fell and Noor Hakim went for, again, maybe a moment's too long in his thought selection process, with Fareed doing really well to get across the cover. Just caught that ball under his right foot momentarily, and Fareed did really well. Very experienced defending from the Tanjong Pagar United skipper. And Tanjong Pagar United again nearly got the second just before half-time. Nishiguchi this time providing Lewis Jr. with the run through on goal. Wonderful goal-giving from Nur Shafiq, and again he got a crucial touch to stop Nishiguchi getting what would have been his and Tanjong Pagar United's second. So all in all, just a goal in it and a real bonanza of a second half it's shaping up to be here at the Jalan Besar Stadium. Can Tanjong Pagar United get that first win in 7 years? Here was another chance just before the break when Rusciadi sprayed it into the middle. Lewis Jr. got it down and went for the acrobatic overhead kick. There was never really a serious threat. But this Brazilian, Lewis Jr., is more than capable of coming up with a spectacular like that. One more bit of action to show you just before half-time. Nice flick on from Ilhan Fandi. From Kyrie Didim it was with a flick. Gets it through to Ilhan, and he was just beaten to the punch by Fashar Iskander. And this is the final bit of action from the first half. Noor Hakim again, who got in once more down the left-hand side, but a little dink over the top. Not quite working. Half-time, Young Lions 0, Tanjong Pagar United 1. Rio Nishiguchi's goal, the difference between the two sides. Let's have a look at the half-time statistics. The tail of the tape shows you that Tanjong Pagar United have enjoyed the better of it. But interestingly, those yellow cards should be kept an eye on in the second half. Daniel Martins and Emery Kong for Tanjong Pagar, Jaime Shahin for the Young Lions. Now, there's another game going on simultaneously to this, and speaking of yellow cards, there's already been a red card at Topayo. Ensar Pruncevic, after 21 minutes, sent off for Balestier Khalsa. They are still holding Hougang United, who started the afternoon in second place in the table, to a goalless draw. So Balestier Khalsa 0, Hougang United 0 there. 1-0 to Tanjong Pagar United here, and we'll be back in plenty of time for the second half. Stay with us.
AIA Vitality. Your health is every choice you make. We are part of a global wellness program with over 1.65 million members in AIA across Asia. And in Singapore, we have more than 100,000 members on AIA Vitality. Members live healthier by knowing their health through online health assessments and screenings. They improve their health by logging exercises and enjoying the rewards to keep them going. And indeed, members are making improvements in their health. Even the vitality age gap has narrowed to less than a year. Best of all, you earn points for every activity. The higher your status, the greater the rewards, including up to 15% off insurance premium on selected AIA plans. To keep you going, there is the weekly fitness challenge with personalized targets to help pace and improve your fitness. When you complete the challenge, you get a spin on the Vitality Wheel to earn Vitality Coins, which you can use at the marketplace. That's not all. You also earn AIA Vitality Points for completing these activities. And very soon, you'll be on your way to Platinum status. And we sweeten the deal further with many exciting partner benefits that you can enjoy. With AIA Vitality, nothing gets better than a healthier you. So get onto AIA Vitality today because your health is every choice you make.
Welcome back, Lions to Jalan Besar, where at half-time it's the Jaguars leading the Young Lions by a goal to nil. Rio Nishiguchi's screamer in the 5th minute of the game, and they are now 45 minutes away, Tanjong Pagar United, for their first win in 2,361 days. 56,664 hours, or if you'd rather, 3,339,840 minutes. Would be some story if they could finally get the monkey off their back after coming so close. They were seconds away from breaking that winless run on Wednesday before Hougang picked them back to a 3-3 draw. And you can see straight away there seems to be some movement on the benches. Is that Suhari Sabri that's about to enter the fray? We'll update that for you just as soon as we can. And I am told there are some changes coming. Daniel Martin will be replaced by Suhari. And I believe there might be another change as well, actually. I'm told that Noor Hakim will be replaced by Joel Chu. Now that's interesting because Joel Chu has looked like a real talent, having had a very productive spell under Gavin Lee at Tampines and returning to the Young Lions, and he's come on for Noor Hakim, who arguably missed the Young Lions' best chance of that first half. Respective team huddles as confirmation Joel Chu is on for Noor Hakim. He did have a heavily bandaged knee, Joel Chu, when we last saw him, and I think that bandage is still there. But he'll be the one down this right-hand side, trying to make things happen. So tactical reshuffle, it seems, a little bit by Philly Paul. We'll keep an eye on that for you. But Tanjong Pagar United having that team huddle just before the second half begins as they try and get that win in the ledger. Of course, not just the first win in over 2,000 days, it was a win that would also take them off the bottom of the table, which is where they've remained for quite some time. Just a bit more on Ensar Bruncevic's red card for Balestier at Topayo. I'm told it's for an off-the-ball incident and it was a straight red card, so we might hear more about that. Balestier Khalsa Hougang 0-0 at Topayo. Here, we have had a goal, and it went to Rio Nishiguchi after 5 minutes, and one that will definitely be a contender for the goal of the month. Song Yong will be getting his goal of the month award for last month tomorrow at the Geylang Lions City Sailors game, our feature match of the weekend, incidentally, where we'll be giving you a full pre-show. Here's Albirex and Tampines from Jurong East, same time tomorrow, 5 o'clock on air for a 5:30 kickoff. There was a bit of a push by Ryan Stewart. Referee, I think, telling him it was a bit of a nudge with the elbow there. It's given the free kick for Rasiadi. Referee suggested he was losing his elbow there. Farid is over this. Looking to take it quickly to player Nishiguchi. Couldn't quite get it over Safri Jupri. Back by Syed Akmal to Nur Shafiq. Nishiguchi's lost out there, and Joel Chu trying to get Ilhan away at the races. Oh, look at that. Wonderful stuff from Sharin Sabarin. Faritz over the top looking for Norfal Ilham, who had a very combative first 45. Not one of the players that picked up a yellow, though. Here's Blake. Lewis Jr. back to Blake. They try to thread it through to Nishiguchi. Just unable to prevent them. Going to get back to Nur Shafiq. Oh, Faritz put his head there in a dangerous position. His bravery was rewarded. Rishiadi back to Faritz. Now, Sahari Sabri potentially getting his team in a bit of bother as Faritz belts that clear and nearly gets into a tangle with Jaime Shahin at the same time. Joel Chu. Rishiadi manages to get away from the youngster. Here's Lewis Jr. Nishiguchi to his left. Lewis Jr. turns to Blake Riccioto. Shot from... Oh! Shot from Zahari Sabri. And well, Shafiq, for a minute there, I thought I'd misjudged it in flight, but no harm done. Have a look at this from Lewis Jr. Blake, and he took a effort from range. Zahari Sabri. Oh, did he get a touch on that? It was a goal kick was the decision. The Tanjong Pagar United players weren't too antsy. So they accepted the decision. Still goalless at Tapaya, where I'm assuming Balestier Castle has done a shut-up shot, having had a player sent off after 20 minutes. Only one goalless draw so far this season. I think that was Brexton Galing at Geelong East, as Tanjong Pagar United are starting the second half like they started the first, with pressure on the Young Lions goal. Shadi with Kyrie Nadim just tracking back, trying to make a nuisance of himself. The player of the month, the young player of the month, sponsored by AIA for the first month of the season. So just a one-man wall. Farid Hamid on the penalty spot in an offside position, so he'll have to drop back. Lewis Jr. looking to run onto it. And keep an eye as well on Emerick Ong, lurking deepest of all. Just out of your shot there, Emerick Ong. There he is. You can just see him on the left-hand side of the screen. Rishiadi drifts it in. Headed away by the Young Lions. And free kick coughed up for what I assume was the referee perceiving it as dangerous play from Zahari Sabri. Safri Jupri. Blake Riccioto, an uncompromising tackle flying in. Tanjong Pagar United ball though, and Faritz. Blake's looking for this, if he can find him long. Goes to Nishiguchi. Nishiguchi gets it back to Rishiadi. Now Emerick Ong through the middle, unchallenged. Blake with a one-touch. The Young Lions could be on the counter here though. They found business and they found the star man, Karim Nadim. Support arriving. Quickly enough, and the move breaks down over the top, where Lewis Jr. will collect this. He's shown a wonderful touch today, Lewis Jr. His first touch has been immaculate throughout. Blake Riccioto. They'll try and switch play down to this near side of Nishikawa. Nishikawa, another gorgeous first touch. Nishikawa into the area, to the byline. Nishikawa! And Nishiguchi, it took a last touch off of a Young Lion. It will be a corner ball. Young Lions don't like it, but it will be the first corner of the second half. Just the third of the match. Both the previous corners has gone to Tanjong Pagar United as well. Mentioned at the start of the broadcast, if you're not familiar with the Singapore Premier League, all the squads on match day 6 this weekend playing their third game in a week, having taken part in a full midweek programme, so fatigue could be a factor here, particularly when you bear in mind that Tanjong Pagar United started this game with the same starting 11 that played in that 3-3 draw against Tanjong on Wednesday. Philip Orr did rotate somewhat in his starting 11 for the Young Lions. Corner swung in. Blake's up. Out to the edge of the area from Suhari Sabri. But the Young Lions have picked it up well. Another flying challenge going in. Suhari Sabri, referee stopping here because I think he believes it's a head injury, I imagine. Is that Norful Ilham on the deck there? I think it might be. Let's have a look at this. Norful Ilham's been so committed in his challenges today. Good grief, and there's another one. It is Norful Ilham. He has put his body on the line for Tanjong Pagar United this afternoon here at Jalan Besar. There's another example. Firm but fair is how you describe that channel. Let's have a look at Ryo Nishiguchi's 5th-minute goal. Again, the difference between the sides. I don't make any apologies for showing this as many times as we have because it's an absolute beauty. Blake Ricciotto, one touch with the left and a wonderful finish with the right. Nur Shafiq, no chance. And Ryo Nishiguchi's also hit the crossbar in this game. So he hit the crossbar with his left foot. Could be on the perfect hat-trick if he'd managed to put that one away. Norful Ilham is going off with a nice pack to the head. So Jansen Fu, the match official, did exactly the right thing in stopping play because it was a head injury. I think what are Tanjong Pagar United going to do with this uncontested drop ball? Rusciadi is over it. Send it back into their own area and back to their keeper in Fashar, who's not really had a save to make in truth. One effort from Noor Hakim, dinked over the bar. Sharon Sabrin back to Fashar, who goes route one, but Lewis Jr. is not in the vicinity. He might put a bit of pressure on Danashir, who heads back safely to Nur Shafiq. Well, I mentioned this goal had been this ground had been giving us plenty of goals this season, 27 in 6, now 28 in 6 and just over a half games. Goals generally have been flooding in this season. Games involving these two teams provided 13 alone on Wednesday. Young Lions beaten 7-0 at Tampines, their heaviest defeat since a 8-0 drubbing by Albirex in 2017. Nishikawa, his progress halted by the interjection of Syed Akmal. Nishiguchi, fascinating to see if they do win here, if they can build on it. Tanjong Pagar United, Nishiguchi. Back to Faritz. Back to Faritz. There's Faritz and Hamid just getting the ball to Nishiguchi, who was fouled for the free kick. Tanjong Pagar United noticeably slowing the pace of this game down. Whenever there's a free kick or a corner to take, they're in absolutely no rush. Just trying to conserve every ounce of energy they can and try and recharge. Interesting angle this for Rusciadi to swing it in though. They've committed plenty of bodies forward. There are 6 Tanjong Pagar United players in the area. Rusciadi. Lewis Jr. A couple of the Young Lions just getting in a tangle. I think Nishiguchi and Ryan Stewart are involved as well. Only Joel Chu left by the halfway line for the Young Lions. Rusciadi, decent delivery, heads her up. And I think that came off a Young Lion last. It did, it'll be a corner. Well, I'm not entirely sure, but Syed Akmal, I think, may have essentially headed this away from what would have been a certain goal. Have a look at Syed Akmal here. If he doesn't get that touch, Blake Ricciotto just bundles that in. And again, look how long they're taking to go over and take the corner. This is clearly a tactic now they've got the lead. They want to slow this game right down. They know that the youthful pace of the Young Lions can cause them problems. They don't want to play this game at a frantic pace now. What they ideally want, though, is a second goal to really put the Young Lions under pressure. Suhari Sabri. Blake Ricciotto heads it down, but the flag's up, it won't count. And by the way, that was some save by Nur Shafiq. Even though the whistle had gone, how on earth did Nur Shafiq keep Lewis Jr. out from point-blank range? Well, it was the right decision, I think. The Young Lions pushed up well. And there was 3 of them, 4 of them maybe even offside. But I don't know, look at the Noor Shafiq save here. Meanwhile, back with the live action, Lewis Jr. again. Just about get it to this near side. Through the middle, we've seen nothing coming forward really from the young Lions yet. That might change now. Ilham Fandi looking for Kairon Nadim. Kairon Nadim is, just taken off his toes by Nawfal Ilham. Kairon Nadim still though. The shot blocked. Back to Ilhan. Blake Riccioto does enough to put him off, and now Nishiguchi's away at the races to chase this down. And covering well enough was Syed Akmal. And that's an example of why the young Lions want the game played at pace. When they've got spaces to run into, Ilhan and Kairon Nadim can cause problems. Here's Rio Nishiguchi. Nishiguchi back to Farid Samid. Farid Samid looking for runners ahead of him. Lewis Jr. I think just straight into an offside position, even if that ball hadn't been blocked. But they'll still get the throw here, Tanjong Pagar United, and as long as they've got possession, the young Lions can't score. They've already navigated 16 minutes of the second half. They'd led for 51 minutes in this game, which I should think is about longer than they led combined in the game against Taogame. Bearing in mind they went 1-0 up, 2-1 up, and 3-1, 3-2 up. So they've managed to hang on to a lead for 52 minutes. Only another 33 minutes to navigate. Over the top, Emre Kong. Zuhairi. Well interjected, but Danish has left some space at the back, and it's space that Lewis Jr. might capitalise on. Lewis Jr., Blake Riccioto! Noor Shafiq gets down to it. It was a scuffed effort from Blake Riccioto. Danish Irfan, just for me, showed signs it was tiring a little bit there. Interesting to see if they persevere with him for much longer. What a ball, that is over the top. Young Lions in, they want the penalty, they play on. Kairon Nadim on the far side, numbers in the middle. Still the young Lion player down in the area. And Tanjong Pagar just outnumber the young Lions to get the ball away. Lewis Jr. now. Nice one touch to Zahari Sabri. And there's still a young Lion down in the penalty area injured. The Tanjong Pagar keeper, Bashar, he's having a look to see if the man down, it is, I think, Shirul Sazali is that down. It's either Shirul Sazali or Kairon Nadim. I think it's Shirul. Can't quite see from this angle. Let's have a look at Blake Riccioto, whose scuffed effort was eventually comfortably saved by Noor Shafiq after good work by Lewis Jr. Showed great strength to hold off Ryan Stewart, pulled it back and just didn't quite get a hold of it. It wasn't really a scuff, was it? Just didn't have the pace or the direction to get past Noor Shafiq. Comfortable enough save. Yeah, confirming that was Shirul Sazali that was on the deck there. Again, we've already seen one change from each side. Not too much in the way of attacking options for the young Lions to introduce. Obviously no Kyril Amri on the bench for Tanjong Pagar United. They have got Hadi Putradilla. Amarul Emran is also an option for them to shoot up the midfield. They've got one young attacker in Anarki Ismit. Farid Samad brings it out to Nishikawa. Nishikawa back to Farid. Confident play by Zamani Zamri over the top. But Sharon Sabrin's had a good game to this point, and he gets it back to Fashar. And look at the space they've got now to build with on Tanjong Pagar United's right-hand side. Rushiadi at the top, looking for the real workhorse. That's Nawfal Ilham. Put himself into the ground in this one, the youngster. Be surprised, in fact, if he's the next player to be substituted, only because he's just not stopped running down that right flank for Tanjong Pagar. Lions get it back through Jaime Shahin. Any of their players to be yellow carded in the first half. Here's Joel Chu. Haven't seen much from him yet, but that's a cute pass to release Kairon Nadim. Now look on this near side. They've got a man on this near side who's completely unmarked. Is Zamani Zamri, if they can find him. Blake just about does enough to interrupt that ball through. Doing the rest of the work will be Shodo Nishikawa. They're defending very much as a team in the second half, Tanjong Pagar United. There's no airs and graces, no more often than not, only really leaving Lewis Jr. as the target man up front. Here's a run from Nishikawa. If they can find him, they swing it to Nishiguchi, who's in a bit of space. If Nishiguchi gets to this first, the Young Lions could be in trouble. Nishiguchi crossed the 6-yard box, pulls it back, Lewis Jr. And there's the buffer goal! Lewis Jr.'s third of the campaign after more great work by Nishiguchi. And that could just be enough to steer Tanjong Pagar United to their first win in 7 years. And on balance, you have to say they deserve it. The Brazilian Luis Jr. making it the Young Lions now. Tanjong Pagar United 2, but once again, look at Ryo Nishiguchi's play there. He spots Luis Jr. brilliantly. The temptation would have been to play it along the 6-yard box there square, but he pulled it back just behind the penalty spot. And Luis Jr.'s finish, it wasn't exactly a bullet, but the position of it meant that Noor Shafiq couldn't get there. And now the Young Lions have a mountain to climb. And you can see by the way they've celebrated both their goals today as night falls in on Singapore that Tanjong Pagar United really want this win for their fans, for the hardcore supporters like the Jaguar Force, and for their management team. Their first win since returning to the league, and now Nishikawa's in. Nishikawa, Nishiguchi, this for 3. Just couldn't get the shot away. Drops back to Lewis Jr. though. Oh, they're all over them now, these Tanjong Pagar United Jaguars. Lewis Jr. gets the ball to Zahari Subri. They're queuing up in the middle. Lewis Jr. 2 goals in a minute. And you can link this one in. The long, hard Tanjong Pagar United nightmare is over. They're going to win a game of football in the AIA Singapore Premier League. And the Young Lions heads are dropping down. They're not just going to win, they're going to win in style here. Lewis Jr. gets 2 in 2 minutes. And Tanjong Pagar United on balance deserved it.
Goal once again for Tanjong Pagar United, scored by number 10, Luis Jr.
Lovely cross in the middle. Set it up as well. Phillips had a great game. Lewis Jr.'s 3rd and 4th goals of the season have surely put this beyond any reasonable doubt. But remember, the Young Lions came from 3-1 down here against Balestier Khalsa in the early part of the season, on the opening day, in fact. Being told there's going to be a change from the Young Lions. That's Philipp's response to conceding those 2 goals in quick succession. Confirmation to come. It will be, being told, Safri Champri, who will be replaced by AIA. Shafis, it's a change to maybe try and pet them up a bit coming forward. They've got defending to do now. Norfolk Ilham spreads it to the right. Lewis Jr.'s on a hat-trick to the pylon. Lewis Jr. Young line defender did very well just to do enough there. Side Akmal. Zulani Zamri. Either way, might have even been Safri Chupri actually, and he's the man that's about to be replaced. But they're just too strong and too experienced at the minute. But hang on a second. Oh, can't get there before Sharon Sabarin. They just don't keep clean sheets, Tanjong Pagar United, so that'll be another element that they'll want to try and follow through on as well. Is Ryan Stewart. Just going back through their ledger. Tanjong Pagar United, they did keep a clean sheet last season in the goal draw against Taogang. Nishikawa, oh, that ball just a bit too much on it, but they'll keep this in, you know. Zahari Sabri didn't give it up, and look at Blake Masioto if they can find it. They put it back instead to North Ilham. Comes to Blake. Can he keep this in? Blake with Kyoto! He gets his goal! Tanjong Pagar United are running riot, and the Jags are winning in style here now. Great hustle from Sahari Sabri. And just look what it means to this team. The players, the fans, the board, the squad, all of them rejoicing in the
Pagar United scored by number 20, Blake Mituto.
They're going to win and win in some style. They scored 3 goals in 7 minutes to put this game to bed as the change comes with Amir replacing.
Substitution for the Young Lions, number 21, Shafi Dupries, being replaced by number 15, Amir Shafi.
He has to say, it's a 4-day spell to forget for the Young Lions. There's some undoubted talent in the squad, the likes of Corinne Nadin, the likes of Ilham Fandy, Joel Chib, of course, they didn't take a minute to come back, but they've been found once again in the last 4 days of the schedule. The intense nature of 3 games in 3 days just proving too much for them. Blake Mituto, his only other goal this season was in the opening day 2 undefeated Jalan. Closed down very quickly. More goals here, don't they? The Bruce Junior gets his hat-trick. The Young Lions haven't given them too many problems, but you have to say Tanjong Pagar United's back when they've done everything they've had to do pretty much immaculately. Over the top with Nishiguchi. So that ball gets there first. Blake was too clever for that. The Young Lions, but ends up giving away the free kick. With a hydration break to come, of course. Next up for these two teams, where they get midweek off this week. Next up, it's a trip to Hougang for the Young Lions. Next up for Tanjong Pagar United a week today is the game against Albirex, the defending champions and the team that share their Geelong East ground. So, some big days on the horizon for Tanjong Pagar United. Really will be fascinating to see if they can build on this in the context of the overall league season. Can the Young Lions get what would surely be only a consolation now? Ryan Stewart with a cross like that. Look at the space that Sahari Sabri's going to have. Gets it to Blake. Blake looking up. They're trying to get it to Nishiguchi every moment they can. Nishikawa's on this near side as well. A great Japanese double act. And they'll bring them into play now. Nishikawa. Nishiguchi. Nishikawa. Lewis Jr. drops deep for Eats. Well, it's amazing to say it, but they're not far off here playing Ole football, Tanjong Pagar United. This is a team that haven't won a game for 7 years. And they're stroking it about now like they're Ole of the Young Lions. Extraordinary. Still 22 minutes to play as well, mind. As promised, we'll do our best to keep you up to date with what's happening in the other AIA Singapore Premier League game, where Hougang have taken the lead against Balestier finally. They've been playing with 10-men Balestier since the 20th minute of that game. But Hougang have broken through with Tomoyuki Doi, who's got another one. It's 8 for the season now for Tomoyuki Doi. Stipe Pasabat, he wanted to get on his coattails sooner rather than later. Stipe, the current Golden Boot holder, who just edged out Tomoyuki Doi when Doi was playing for Albirex last season. It's a start to the campaign for Tomoyuki Doi, who is the AIA player of the month for the first month of the season. Of course, Corinne Nadin, the young player. Ilhan did well to get ahead to that, but there was no one really up there supporting and attacking with him. Comes back to Ryan Stewart. What can Ryan Stewart do with the delivery? The last one wasn't so good. Neither was that one, but for Eats, he's gifted it back to the Young Lions now. Another cross comes in. It's well won in the air by Ilhan, but ultimately to no avail as Jansen Fu sends the players for the water break. Well, we spent a long time replaying that Ryo Nishiguchi goal. Now we've got 3 goals to show you. A couple for Luis Jr. and that goal, of course, by Blake Mituto, that have essentially put this game to bed in a 7-minute blitz. in the first half of the second stanza. Rio Nishiguchi, goal scorer to provider. Lewis Jr. just able to place it beyond the despairing dive of Noor Shafiq. That was the 2-0 just after the hour mark, and they didn't have to wait more than 120 seconds for the third. All the credit in the world to that cross from Noor Ilham. He's had a great game. Lewis Jr.'s header too strong. That was in the 63rd minute, and just a couple of minutes after that, our Australian friend wanted to get on the act. Good hustle from Suhairi Sabri to keep the ball in. More good work from Noor Ilham, and Blake Masiato didn't give up at the narrow angle. Question marks maybe over Noor Shafiq's goalkeeping and not protecting the near post, but at that point they really were under siege. So it's 3 goals in 6 second half minutes that have turned this game well and truly in Tanjong Pagar United's favour. And the long, hard wait is almost over. I'm sure the Jaguar force are watching at home. Some of them, I'm sure, will have even tried to fulfil the criteria to be in the stadium. They usually show quite good resourcefulness in finding a nook and cranny in one of the corners of the ground to watch, but it's important we recognise the hard-core dedication of the likes of the Gaelic Ultras, the Hougang Halls and the Jaguar Force, the lifeblood of the game here in Singapore, and I think they'll agree with everyone else. It's been the best start to an AIA Singapore Premier League season in quite some time. Let's just hope the excitement continues all the way through to the end of what's going to be a sensational 21-game season, with, of course, the prospect of AFC Cup football involving Gaelic and the Lion City Sailors being hosted in Singapore, and Tampines Rovers representing the nation abroad in the AFC Champions League, which is going to be a big ask for Gavin Lee's boys against the likes of Gamma Osaka. Free to me, referee is going to be advised by his assistant that that was a foul by Zamani Zamri. Well, they've now conceded 11 goals in 2 games without getting on the score sheet, the Young Lions. Here's Nishikawa. Nishikawa to Nishiguchi. Lewis Jr. Oh, a turn, Lewis Jr. They have to take him down. He must be careful. Needs to be careful to Zamir. He's just come on, wants to make an impression, but that's not the kind of impression you want to make picking up the yellow card. Handling that well, the official. Referee getting the yellow card out, no nonsense. Bushiadi gets it to Nishiguchi, who's got man of the match status at the moment. That's unless Lewis Jr. can get a hat-trick, and he was going for the spectacular there, the Brazilian. Bushiadi, kick out there, they get away with it. There's Sharon Samarin. Handball against Joel Chew it was. Credit to the Young Lions for not making too much of a meal of that, even though it resulted in Raimi Shari being thrown over the byline. Yeah, there's been a few yellow cards, hasn't there? We top them up 1, 2, 3, 4, I make it, but nothing too untoward, just a full-blooded game of football. Here's Blake Masiato. Blake twisting, turning to the byline again, and he'll win the corner. Lions yet to even really in danger of winning a corner, never mind scoring a goal. Unfortunately, that's how they've been outplayed and ultimately outfought here. Yeah, 2 corners to 5, won by Tanjong Pagar United. You had to say with 15 minutes to go, you wouldn't be certain this wouldn't get worse for the Young Lions. Siadi to deliver. Lewis Jr. on a hat-trick, waits for it. Blake Masiato looking to get his second waits for it. Faritzi's there as well. Nearly drops to Blake, nearly drops to Emre Kong, who wants to get in on the action. Instead, the Young Lions can try and bring it away. Do just that with Ryan Stewart. Careful, passing it around in their own final third, and pressure's told, and so trying to get it out from the byline. Well, 14 shots to 5. I can't recall 5 in-line shots, I've got to be honest. As they make a change here, and he's had some game, this youngster. Really impressed with Noor Ilham, number 54. He will make way for another youngster in Elfie Danish, but that is some performance. Noor Ilham has done his club proud here. Don't be surprised if you see him that name. stature, but huge on heart and ability, and he gets a nice hug from Noel Shah downstairs. I'm sure his team manager and coach, Jalan, will be delighted with him. Danish, of course, we see more here, but goodness graciously, Norshafik's just wrapped up the corner. Tanjong Pagar United put a ribbon on it and sent it by first-class mail. Danish's first order of business is over to take this corner. I'm not entirely sure if Shadi's got the energy to go and take it, is he? No, he won't be, so Elfie Danish over to take this, the left-footed outswinger. Lewis Jr. on a hat-trick, already hat-tricks this season for Yuki Dai, wasn't it, that came up with the only hat-trick? Farid Sami with a header. Fell to Lewis Jr. Quite get it away. It was a hat-trick for Boris, wasn't there, in the 7-0 on Wednesday. Ryan's for Tampines Rovers. Big man Boris Kavinovic will see him in action tomorrow in the feature game from Geelong East. The Stags go to Roberts and Garter, and they pulled up arguably their biggest win of last season, coming from a goal in at half-time. Kevin Lee worked his tactical magic, and they fall past Alberts in the second half. Still didn't win the league though, which is ultimately all that matters. So have a chance potentially to go, maybe not top with Howgang winning today, but certainly up there, really keeping up with the pace of the league leaders. To say this yet to really catch fire. But I suppose it's inevitable in some respects. It's going to be a real fascinating title race. It won't involve Tanjong Pagar United, that's safe to say, but on this evidence they've got a real shot of avoiding the wooden spoon here. And the day has finally come after such a long wait. To the final 13 we go. Well, Elfie's being asked a lot by Farid there, who puts his hand up just under your camera shot to Knowledge. Back to Norshafikh. That's a bit risky. Joel Chu's having to drop so deep to get involved, and Lewis Jr.'s come up with it. Lewis Jr., lovely through boom. Norshafikh comes. Keeper does well there, Norshafikh. Danger not entirely cleared yet. They'll get some respite though. Over far side from Danish. Junior. Get some tricks going in that far corner. He's only win the throw. See another change possibly coming from Tanjong Pagar United. That would make me happy, Butcher did up. As you can see down there warming up. It might be a Naki, isn't it, actually? I'll find that for you in a minute. I can see some shin pads going on, so Tanjong Pagar United are getting ready to make their next change. His goal nearly enough. They might do now though. Chance. Just sums it up. Not the young Lions' day, not their week. Kyrie Naden there, superstar youngster, 17 till May, I should say, early May. It was earlier today presented with the AIA Young Player of the Month award. Ismail he'll be having. Ismail showed me pick that up. Good work from Ilhan. He's a real handful. Ilhan, there's the makings of a strike partnership with he and Kyrie Nadim. There's lots of reasons to be optimistic when you look around the region. Fandy, of course, still playing straight outside of Singapore. Getting on in years, Harris Harun, but still up there. There's some great young players, Jacob Barley, Sam Fanders, him doing great things overseas as well in Europe. For the young Lions, Kyrie Nadim, let's continue to improve. Joel Chu. Young coaches from the likes of Gavin Lee, Ferdhouse, of course, is doing wonderful things there. Howgang assisting Clementio. So talent pool is there. We all come together and get behind to bring back the World campaign. AIA Singapore Premier League will play a huge part of Faris. Nice footwork. Shiguchi open at the back. Rishiadi, space and abundance over on that far side. Here they come again. Ishikawa goes down. Good challenge, and it will be a corner. Tanjong United, there wasn't any play acting or appealing for a penalty there. There's a young lion down, and I think he's going to be replaced as well. We still await to see who that third and final Tanjong United change is going to be. Wouldn't be surprised if it was Inaki Ismit to give him some experience, even though he's another underage player. We've seen plenty of Hadri Putradia over the season so far. Might just be a bit of cramp for Zamani Zamri. They are making a change. Young Lions. Yeah, Zamani will be the man to make way for Danish player. So Danish will come on. Just wait to make that change, and have to play with 10 for now, and Norshavin does well to claim, and they win a free kick as well. Lemericon on the yellow. They've got the yellow in this second half. The last thing they want to do is, like the Lions City Sailors did in the closing stages of their 3-1 win against the Young Lions here a couple of weeks back, is lose a player to a red card, unnecessary suspension, as Danishing replacing Zamani Zamri is confirmed.
Substitution for the Young Lions, number 24, Zamani Zamri, replaced by number 22, Danish.
Who's coming on. That'll be a big moment for the youngster in a game like this. Blake Musioto. Zamani Sabri. That wasn't missing by much, was it? He's made an impact since he's come on in the second stance. Sahari Sabri's given them a little extra dynamic in the middle of the park. Gets to that first. He's worked it in at the back, and they've played themselves into trouble again, have they? Very nearly. For a goal kick. Well, in some ways, bearing in mind what happened on Wednesday, when they thought for so long they were going to get that first win against Taogang and to make do with a 3-0 draw, the manner of this victory has probably been something of an anti-climax, but underestimate how important it is for a football club. Again, I repeat what I said in the first half. Those of you watching outside of Singapore not familiar with the AIA Singapore Premier League, they were absent from the league for 6 years, 2014, which means the number of days since the win is greater than obviously it probably would have been. It's safe to say, but still an important victory. Bearing in mind they came back to the league last year and didn't win a match. Sahari Sabri, his play deserves a goal. He might have to leave it for Ishiguchi. Sahari Sabri, Lewis Jr. for the hat-trick. Can he finish off the hat-trick? Over the bar by Lewis Jr. They are celebrated success. October 2014, 5-0 against Harry Malmuda B. Asian entrance into the SPL back then. 5-0 they won that day. I suppose it would be something, isn't it, if they could get another and win this one 5-0 as well. 7 years between wins, both of them 5-0. That would be pretty extraordinary. The Young Lions, though, to their credit, as they always do on the Philly ball, keep on fighting. Here's their change, Danish. Ryan Stewart. Caught in two minds there, and it drifts in for Sharp. This result is beyond any kind of doubt. I'll tell you at Topayo, still Ballister Kelso, Neil Haugang United 1, Tom Yukido is 8th for the season. Down by Jaime. They have got word of that final change that's going to be made by Tanjong Pagar, and it won't be a hat-trick for Lewis Jr. This is about to be replaced by Hadri Putradia. It wasn't Inaki Ismit who was getting ready to come on. It was number 12, it was number 22 to Hadri Putradia. We've seen already this season in action. Will be coming on to play. Here on the near side, over the top. Ilhan trying to run through. Ilhan gets there, but a heavy touch just allows Fashar to recover after good work by Emmerich. Here's Rashadi. Through to Lewis Jr. Lewis Jr. battles well, holds it up well. Zahari Sabri waits in the middle, but Lewis Jr. just keeps on rolling. They can't take him down. He's like a huge tree trunk. They can't take the free kick quickly. It's in the wrong place. So Rashadi over this free kick. As the seconds become a bit agonising for the young Lions here. They've not, in truth, been in this match really since they went behind in the 5th minute. Managed to keep the score to just 1-0 at half-time, but that 6-minute 3-goal blitz by Tanjong Pagar, 2 for Lewis Jr. and 1 for Blake Masioto. Tied this up now. It would be something if they could match the scoreline to when they last won a game, that 5-0 win back in October 2014. They need one more goal to do it. Is this the goal? Is this Lewis Jr.'s hat-trick? Comes up, still not cleared yet. Fareed was up, comes to Zahari Sabri, still can drop to Lewis Jr. for his hat-trick. Can't get it away, they want handball. Well, they wanted handball there. Half-hearted the appeals, if truth be told. And nothing doing. Change will come now. It will be no hat-trick for Lewis Jr., but his 3rd and 4th goals of the season have been a big reason why Tanjong Pagar United Football Club are about to win their first game in 7 years.
Pagar United number 10, Lewis Jr. is being replaced by number 22, Adi Putradia.
Adi Putradia is on for the last couple of minutes. He's going to be part of a bit of history here. Tanjong Pagar United's first win since being welcomed back to the AIA Singapore Premier League at the start of last season. And look at that from Elfie from a bit of skill. Well, Elfie, he replaced a man who had a great game in Norfolk Ilham, and he's not been too bad himself. Blake Masioto! Noor Shafiq got down well, but that went behind for a corner. Well, I want to see that again. It looked for all the world that it got behind for a corner. It's a good save off Blake Masioto, but surely this went behind for a corner. Look at Elfie, along with Norfolk Ilham. Hasrin Jalani and Noel Shah are doing great work with a crop of youngsters here at Tanjong Pagar. Oh, look, it went behind for a corner, maybe not. Meanwhile, back with the live action. Is there a consolation for the young Lions? Kyrin Nadim. And the whistle goes, and some of these young Lions boys are absolutely out on their feet. The mental and physical demands of this busy match week have taken their toll. What have we got here? Is this going to be a drop ball? I think it is. So what are they going to do here? They're just going to let them have a shot from the drop ball. I've seen that happen already this season. Referee drops it, ding back into the area, and all of a sudden it could be at the other end where the goal is threatened. With passes like that, these players are out on their feet out there. It's been a very hot and humid day in Singapore. Played some of the 90 minutes on Wednesday. They're now feeling the pace in the 90th minute on Saturday. There's only going to be 3 minutes of time added on for stoppages, and I think that's a blessing for all concerned. Fareed has had a great game. Led from the front, the skipper getting involved in a very full-blooded challenge on that occasion with Jaime Shahin. He's the only young Lion to this point in the book, although Amir did join him, didn't he? Confirmation of 3 minutes time to be added on for stoppages. As Joel Chu goes over to launch what will be probably the Young Lions' final assault to at least get what will be a consolation goal. If the scoreline stays like this, they would have failed to score in 3 of their games this season now. So it's going to be easily dealt with by Fashar. Yeah, they drew a blank against Alborex through a blank, of course, against Tampines. Did score here against the Lion City Sailors, albeit a goal when they were 3-0 down. For Sharp. Really had a shot to save. Did come out smartly from his line in the first half, credit to him, but this has been all about some really good individual performances for Tanjong Pagar United. Credit to the staff, of course, the coaching staff behind the scenes, but Lewis Jr. showing his quality. Rio Nishiguchi, of course, showed Nishikawa, the understated influence in that midfield, and must give a mention to Norfolk Ilham and Elfie, in fact, the man that's replacing. They both look really tidy. Elfie hasn't had as long to impress in this game, but Norfolk Ilham right up there for a star showing. Referee going to show another yellow card here, is it? I think he is. It's going to be going into the book there, is it? We'll get confirmation if they showed the yellow card to there when we can. Needless yellow under the circumstances for Reitz. Gets it in. Here's Blake Masioto, another player that's had a great game today. Nishiguchi, whose goal started it all in the 5th minute. Here's Blake Masioto. Signs that these import players are just gelling with the Singaporeans for the first time here this afternoon. They'll have tougher tests, no doubt about that. The game against Albrecht will be a different kettle of fish. But there's ability here. Suhari Sabri's offside. Now, looks like the scoring is going to be upping stumps at 4. They're into injury time at Topayo as well. Ballistic Chaos are still trailing Howgang by a Tomoyuki Doi goal in the second half to 0. Just confirmation, Suhari Sabri it was that picked up that unnecessary yellow, becoming the 3rd player of the day to be yellow carded, wearing Tanjong Pagar United white and blue. Well, I'm sure the Jaguar force are watching, all the Tanjong Pagar United fans are watching, and they'll be enjoying here the fact that finally there's a win in the ledger. They lost twice to the Young Lions last season, ended up with a wooden spoon, and they'll move off the bottom of the table tonight with this win, and it will help their goal difference as well, of course. The Young Lions goal difference is going to start to look pretty horrific with a weak goal difference of -11. 2,361 days. 56,664 minutes, or hours I should say, and 3,339 hours, 840 minutes. The wait is over, the nightmare is over. Tanjong Pagar United win their first game since 2014 in the AIA Singapore Premier League. They've beaten the Young Lions by 4 goals to 0. A 5th minute screamer from Rio Nishiguchi. The Young Lions struggling really to get back into it. One half chance in the first half that fell to Norhacken that he lobbed over. But 6 minutes in the second half confirmed the victory for the Jaguars. 2 from Lewis Jr. in 2 minutes, and then 3 minutes after he got his second, Blake Masioto with his second of the season to make it 4-0. The result doesn't really flatter Tanjong Pagar United. They were much the best. The Young Lions have had a week to forget with a 7-0 defeat at Tampines, followed by a 4-0 reverse at home here. But they'll move on to bigger and better things, I'm sure, throughout the remainder of the season. Their next game is next weekend at Howgang. As for Tanjong Pagar, they'll try and build on this when they go back to their home stadium to take on the team they share that ground with, Albrecht, next Saturday at Jurong East. But it's finished here. Young Lions 0, Tanjong Pagar United 4. Let's have a look back at the highlights, starting with that 5th minute screamer from Rio Nishiguchi. Blake Masioto playing him through. I say playing him through, that's a bit of an exaggeration. Nishiguchi, one touch with his left, finished it beautifully with his right. He hit the crossbar very soon after that as well. But this will be a contender for goal of the month, no question about it. Superb performances for Tanjong Pagar United all over the park. Nishiguchi was one, Norfolk Ilham was definitely another. Elfie impressed when he came on for a cameo late. Rusiadi was solid in the middle of the park, as was Nishikawa, and Blake Masioto, as you'd expect. Faritz was a monster at the back with Sharin Sabarin. This was the goal that made it 2-0 just after the hour mark. Lewis Jr. Well, apologies, before we get to that second goal, we'll see one of those hopeful, speculative efforts from a long way out from Suhari Sabri. Blake Masioto laying it back. I think it might have hit the post even there. This was Rio Nishiguchi going from scorer to provider, found Lewis Jr. perfectly just above the penalty spot. Lewis Jr.'s shot scuffed a little bit, but it managed to find its way past Noor Shafiq. That was for 2-0 just after the hour mark, and I think Tanjong Pagar United knew then that the points were all but in the bag. But if they wanted to make sure, they went the right way about making sure, because this goal here was followed by 2 quick-fire goals to make it 3 and 4-0. Noor Ilhan with the cross here. What a game he had, finding the head of Lewis Jr., completely unmarked, heading it past Noor Shafiq for 3-0. That was only 2 minutes after Lewis Jr. had got his first of the game.
Goal once again for Tanjong Pagar United, scored by number 10, Lewis Jr.
What about the cross from Noor Ilhan? We'll be seeing much more of that youngster, I'm sure, this season. And then the icing on the cake, the goal that sealed it. Again, Noor Ilhan involved. Good hustle from a narrow angle by Blake Risciotto. And that was that. Young Lions 0, Tanjong Pagar United 4. They're still playing, incidentally, at Topayo, just waiting for the final whistle to go there as we get one last look at the goal that put the exclamation mark on a wonderful Tanjong Pagar United performance. They've shown some great heart here, having given up the lead 3 times on Wednesday at Howgang and having to make do with a point. Hasrin Jalani and Noel Amshar's boys have made no mistake here. And how about this for a little late cameo from Elfie as well, who did really well to keep that ball in. Nishiguchi getting this back to Blake Risciotto, and Noor Shafiq just being able to prevent the corner as well somehow, which was impressive as well. One more look at Elfie. They've got some promising youngsters, have Tanjong Pagar United. Can they build on this first win, and how will the Young Lions react to what's been a very disappointing 7 days? Those questions will be answered in the future, but for now, let's look back on the tail of the tape. You can see 27 shots for Tanjong Pagar United. That's probably the most shots they've had on goal since 2014 as well. They had all 7 corners, 5 yellow cards in what wasn't really a nasty game. It was played for the most part in very good spirits. So just to remind you of what's happening elsewhere today, as the final whistle gone, I believe it may have done. Bannister Kausa 0, Ensar Bruncevic sent off for them in the first half. Howgang United 1. Tomoyuki Doi's goal in the second half, his 8th of the season. Footing for now, I think, the Cheetahs top of the table. Young Lions 0, Tanjong Pagar United 4 was the other score. Here is the table, and as I suspected, Howgang United no top, but that could all change tomorrow if Tampines beat Albrechts, and Albrechts can go back to the top if they beat Tampines. The Lions City Sailors in 4th, but in terms of what we've seen here at Jalan Besar, the big story, Tanjong Pagar United off the foot of the table for the first time in a long time. They've beaten the Young Lions by 4 goals to 0. Don't forget another double-header of Sunday night Sunset football coming your way tomorrow. The feature game of the weekend. Join Roshan Rai and myself for full pre-match and post-match coverage of Albrechts Nagata and Tampines Rovers as second play third, with both teams looking to go to the top of the summit tomorrow night. And elsewhere, the Lions City Sailors looking to win at Gelling International. Noor Ali's boys looking for the points in that one. Well, we'll say goodbye and sign off for now. Don't forget to keep it tuned to the AIA Singapore Premier League social media channels for all the post-game reaction. And don't forget to join us live tomorrow for more great games in the AIA Singapore Premier League for 2021. But for now, it's finished here at Jalan Besar. Young Lions 0 for their first win in 7 years. Tanjong Pagar United 4.